Your true power has never been outside of you. It is not in the shifting world, not in the crowns of kings, nor in the coins of the marketplace. It is hidden, quiet, radiant, buried deep in the chambers of your spirit. And when you awaken it, the universe itself bends to the command of your frequency. Every door you once thought was locked will open. Every shadow you once feared will dissolve in light. The power you have been searching for, striving for, begging for, it has always been yours. And tonight, in this journey, you will remember. Introduction. You arrive now at the threshold of an inner temple, not one built of stone or mortar, but of silence, breath, and ancient memory. The great river of your soul has brought you here, carrying you across years of longing, across deserts of doubt, across storms of fear, until finally you stand before this hidden door. The flame of eternity flickers inside you, and it whispers a single truth: your power is spiritual. The world has told you otherwise. It has told you that power belongs to those with wealth, armies, or titles. It has taught you to chase, to grasp, to prove yourself worthy of what was already within you. Yet if you listen carefully, you will hear the contradiction. Those who seem powerful on the outside are often restless, fearful, fragile, because true power does not come from what you own, but from what you embody. It does not come from control, but from alignment. Imagine yourself walking through a cathedral of starlight, the ceiling above infinite galaxies, the floor beneath an ocean of shimmering glass. Every step you take echoes through eternity. In that cathedral, there is no scarcity, no judgment, no struggle. Only the radiant truth that the same breath that spoke worlds into being is alive in you right now. This audiobook is not just a collection of words. It is a key, a mirror, and a flame, a key to unlock the doors you believed sealed, a mirror to show you who you have always been, a flame to ignite the dormant power waiting in the marrow of your being. As you listen, allow your imagination to paint the images. Allow your heart to feel the pulse between each sentence. Every word is a thread woven into the fabric of your awakening. Chapter 1. The Hidden Flame. There is a flame within you that no storm can extinguish. It has burned since the hour of your first breath. It has burned through nights of despair, through mornings of doubt, through seasons of loss. Even when you felt weakest, even when you collapsed upon the floor in silence, that flame endured. It is not of this world, it belongs to eternity, and it is the first sign of your true power. The flame does not roar like fire in the forest. It does not blind like lightning splitting the sky. It is subtler, gentler, but infinitely stronger. It whispers rather than shouts. And yet, when you lean into it, when you honor it, when you learn to expand it, universes obey its frequency. This is the paradox of spiritual power. It hides not in spectacle, but in silence, not in noise, but in stillness. Imagine standing at the center of a vast desert at night. Above you, stars stretch like rivers of fire across the heavens. Around you, silence reigns, so complete that even the sound of your breath feels sacred. In that silence, you realize something extraordinary. Everything is alive. The stars above you, the grains of sand beneath you, the unseen winds, they all hum with the same frequency. And that frequency is mirrored in you. You are not apart from the universe. You are the universe embodied. It is here that most forget. They believe themselves powerless because they have forgotten their connection, They see themselves as separate, small, fragile. They chase after scraps of validation, crumbs of wealth, fragments of approval, while within them burns a Sunday. That hidden flame is your true inheritance, your eternal companion. And to awaken it is to step into the life you were always meant to live. A story has been told for centuries in whispers, though its origins are lost. It is the story of a monk who lived in a small mountain temple. He was known to all the villagers as poor, simple, even powerless. His robe was worn, his sandals broken. He owned nothing of value. Yet when people climbed the mountain to see him, they left transformed. They claimed that just sitting in his presence lifted the weight of their despair. Some said they were healed. Some said they received visions of their destiny. Some said their hearts were unshackled from years of guilt and pain. One day, a wealthy man from the city came to confront him. He scoffed at the villagers' reverence and accused the monk of fraud. "If you are truly powerful," he said, "then prove it. Turn these stones into gold. Heal me of my bitterness. Show me something that I can measure." The monk only smiled and said nothing. Instead, he lit a single candle before them and sat in silence. The wealthy man grew frustrated. But as the minutes passed, he noticed something strange. His anger dissolved, his chest grew lighter, and tears began to fall. He had not cried in decades. The flame of the candle reflected in his eyes, and for the first time, he felt the hidden flame within himself. He fell to his knees, humbled. The monk never spoke a word. Yet in that silence, he revealed the truth. Power is not about demonstration. It is about transmission. It is not what you force upon others, but what you awaken within them. And this is what the villagers had always felt. The monk's flame was alive, steady, unwavering. By tending his inner fire, he lit the fires of others. This is what you are called to remember. Your true power is not in controlling the world, but in illuminating it. Your task is not to grasp, but to radiate. To awaken the flame within and let it spill into every word you speak, every step you take, every dream you embody. When you begin to live this way, life responds. The universe bends like grass before the wind of your alignment. Opportunities appear where once there were walls. People feel drawn to you without knowing why. Circumstances rearrange themselves to serve your highest vision. It is not because you forced them, it is because you carried the flame of spirit and all else recognized its authority. The world may tempt you to believe otherwise. It will wave crowns before your eyes and call them power. It will dazzle you with coins, applause, titles. But remember, kingdoms fall, currencies collapse, reputations crumble. The only power that endures is the one that was never given by the world in the first place. Your flame cannot be bought, cannot be stolen, cannot be destroyed. It is eternal. Close your eyes for a moment, even as you listen. Imagine that flame within your chest. See it first as a spark, a soft golden light. Breathe into it. With every inhale, it expands. With every exhale, it grows brighter. Soon it fills your chest, then your body, then the space around you. See yourself glowing like a Sunday. Feel its warmth move through your hands, your thoughts, your voice. Know that this flame is your true power, and it has always been with you. You may ask, how do I live from this flame? The answer is simple, though not always easy. You must choose it again and again. When fear arises, remember the flame. When doubt creeps in, return to the flame. When the world tells you that you are small, remind yourself, I am infinite. For the more you turn toward the flame, the more it responds. The more you honor it, the more it reveals. There will be days when the flame feels dim. Do not despair. Even the sun is hidden behind clouds, yet it still burns. The flame is not gone. It waits patiently for you to notice it again. And when you do, when you breathe life into it, it will blaze brighter than ever. The monk on the mountain did not become powerful overnight. He tended his flame in silence for years, and that is what made him unshakable. You, too, must tend yours. Not with striving, but with devotion. Not with frantic effort, but with stillness, with attention, with faith. The great secret is this: you do not need to create the flame. You only need to uncover it. Like a jewel buried in the earth, it has always been yours. The digging may take time, but every layer of fear you remove, every illusion you release, brings you closer to the brilliance within. And when you find it, your life will transform in ways no mind could predict. Sacred practice. Sit quietly, spine straight, and place your hand on your chest. Breathe deeply and slowly. With every inhale, imagine drawing golden light into your body. With every exhale, imagine that light expanding beyond your skin, forming a radiant field around you. Whisper softly, "The flame is alive in me." Repeat this for 7 breaths. When you rise, carry that flame into your day, knowing it walks before you, shaping your reality. There will be moments when the words pierce like lightning, shattering illusions you've carried for years. There will be moments when the voice falls like gentle rain, soothing your soul and whispering promises you had forgotten. And there will be moments when silence itself speaks louder than any phrase, for the spirit often moves in spaces where the mind cannot. Stay with this journey until the end, and you will not walk away the same. Something will stir within you, a remembrance, a certainty, a fire that will not be extinguished. This is your true inheritance, the ability to command reality, not by force, but by alignment with the law of spirit. Your true power is not somewhere out there. It is here, in your voice, in your thought, in your awareness. Tonight, you will awaken it. Chapter 2: The Mirror of Reality. The world is not what it seems. It is not a fixed wall of stone, unyielding and eternal. It is a mirror, alive and responsive, bending itself to reflect the frequency of your inner state. And just as a mirror does not choose what to show, reality does not decide for you. It simply reveals you. Pause for a moment and let that truth sink in. Everything you see around you is the echo of your own vibration. The wealth you experience, the love you encounter, the opportunities or obstacles you face, they are not random. They are reflections, projected outward from the state of your consciousness. This is why spiritual power is so different from worldly power. The world tells you to wrestle with appearances, to change the surface, to fight the shadows on the wall. But those who awaken know the surface is not the cause, the shadow is not the source. If you wish to change the reflection, you must first alter the one who stands before the mirror. Think of a man who stands before a mirror, scowling. He strikes at his reflection, desperate to change it, yet the face staring back remains angry. He grows exhausted, shouting at the glass, but nothing shifts. Finally, in despair, he softens. He allows a small smile to curl across his lips, and instantly the reflection transforms. The mirror never resisted him. It simply waited for him to remember. So it is with your life. What you call your circumstances are not chains, they are reflections. And the key to altering them is not in struggle, but in inner alignment. There is an ancient parable of a woman who lived in a village plagued by drought. The fields were barren, the rivers cracked and dry. The people grew desperate, blaming one another, fighting over scraps of grain. Yet this woman did something different. She went each morning to the dry riverbed and sat in silence. She closed her eyes, breathed deeply, and imagined the waters flowing again. She felt the coolness of the river, saw children splashing in its waves, heard the laughter of the village echoing with abundance. To others, she appeared foolish, a dreamer lost in fantasy. But days passed, and something shifted. Rain clouds began to gather, the heavens opened, and the river returned, flowing stronger than ever. The villagers rejoiced, yet few understood the truth. It was her inner state that had aligned with abundance, and the mirror of reality had reflected it back. You may ask, was it magic, coincidence, divine intervention? Perhaps it was all of these. But understand this. The law of spirit is not bound by the categories of the mind. It simply obeys frequency. And the one who aligns with the state of abundance cannot help but see abundance mirrored in their world. This is why the scriptures of every tradition whisper the same secret in different words. In the Hermetic texts, it is written, "As within, so without." In the Gospels, "It is done unto you as you believe." In the Vedas, "The world is woven by thought." These are not poetic flourishes. They are maps to your power. Consider the life you now live. Every detail, from the smallest irritation to the grandest blessing, reflects the state of your inner being. If there is lack, it is because lack is rehearsed within. If there is joy, it is because joy has been chosen within. You are the painter, the dreamer, the projector. The world is but your screen. Yet here lies both the challenge and the liberation. The challenge because it means you cannot blame fate, luck, or circumstance. The liberation because it means you hold the power to shift it all. When you look into the mirror and dislike what you see, do not curse the glass. Change the face you bring to it. There was once a traveler who wandered into a city renowned for its beauty. Every street shimmered with light. Every home radiated warmth. He asked the gatekeeper, "What kind of people live here?" The gatekeeper replied, "Tell me first, what kind of people lived in the place you came from?" The traveler sighed. "They were greedy, cruel, selfish. I could not bear it." The gatekeeper shook his head and said, "Then you will find the same here." Later, another traveler arrived and asked the same question. The gatekeeper again inquired, "And what kind of people lived where you came from?" The second traveler smiled. "They were kind, generous, full of joy. I loved them dearly." The gatekeeper's eyes glowed. "Then you will find the same here." For the city was not fixed. It was a mirror, reflecting the state of the one who entered. And so is the world you walk in daily. Ask yourself, what reflection are you carrying? When you rise in the morning, do you bring with you gratitude or complaint? When you meet others, do you radiate trust or suspicion? When you dream of your future, do you expect abundance or brace for disappointment? The mirror cannot deceive. It shows you exactly what you embody. This truth may pierce you like lightning, or it may soothe you like rain. But either way, it is the doorway to freedom. If you do not like what you see, shift your state. Train your inner vision to dwell on what you desire, not what you fear. Choose thoughts that expand, not those that shrink. Choose emotions that empower, not those that enslave. This is not mere positive thinking. It is spiritual law. It is not about painting false smiles or denying pain. It is about knowing that the mirror reflects your deepest frequency and choosing that frequency consciously. When you master this, the world itself bends to your inner alignment. Imagine walking through your day with this awareness. Instead of reacting to the mirror, you create from within. Instead of chasing shadows, you radiate light. Instead of waiting for change, you embody it now. And the world, like a faithful reflection, cannot help but follow. Even now, as you listen, notice how your body responds. Does your heart not quicken at the thought that you are the author of your reality? Does your mind not expand at the possibility that the struggles you face are but shadows waiting to dissolve before your inner sun? This is the awakening, realizing that you are not at the mercy of the mirror. You are the flame that shapes it. Sacred practice. Tonight, before sleep, stand before an actual mirror. Do not rush. Look into your own eyes. For a moment, you may see only the familiar, tiredness, flaws, the weight of the day. But then, soften your gaze. Look deeper. Imagine that the eyes before you are not yours, but the universe's, staring back with infinite love. Now, speak softly. I am the flame. I am the cause. The world reflects me. Repeat this 7 times, breathing slowly. With each repetition, allow a new certainty to rise in you, that tomorrow's world will mirror the state you choose tonight. When you turn away, carry the reflection of power with you. Chapter 3. The River of Frequency. Every life flows like a river. Some rivers run turbulent, crashing against rocks, scattering themselves in noise. Others glide in silence, wide and deep, carrying everything effortlessly to the sea. And just as no 2 rivers are alike, no 2 lives vibrate at the same frequency. You are not separate from this truth. You, too, are a river of frequency. With every thought, every emotion, every intention, you set the current of your stream. If you vibrate with fear, your river churns with turbulence. If you vibrate with love, it glides in peace. If you vibrate with abundance, its waters overflow, nourishing every field it touches. This is the great secret hidden beneath all spiritual law. The universe responds not to your words, but to your frequency. You may say, I am wealthy, but if your inner current flows with lack, the river carries lack into your world. You may whisper, I am loved, but if your frequency vibrates with loneliness, the mirror returns emptiness. Yet when your inner current truly aligns, when your river flows with certainty, love, and abundance, nothing in the world can resist it. Imagine walking into a great hall filled with tuning forks. If you strike one fork, the others of the same pitch begin to sing, though untouched by hand. They vibrate because resonance obeys its own law. So too is life. Your inner vibration calls forth matching notes in the outer world. You do not need to chase, you only need to resonate. There is a story of a farmer in ancient times. His fields had grown barren despite his labor. He prayed endlessly, begging the heavens for rain, for growth, for prosperity. Yet the skies remained silent. One day an old wanderer passed by and sat with him. The wanderer said, You beg for rain, but what is the frequency of your heart? The farmer, puzzled, asked, What do you mean? The wanderer led him to the dry soil and said, Place your ear to the ground. Do you hear the silence? This is your own silence of faith. You plant seeds, but in your heart you doubt their harvest. You water the earth, but within you rehearse famine. The land mirrors your vibration. Change your current, and the river will return. That night the farmer sat in the darkness of his small home. He closed his eyes and saw his fields already green. He felt the cool shade of leaves, heard the laughter of his children gathering abundant grain, tasted the bread baked from harvest. Each night he did this, not as fantasy, but as reality. Slowly, something shifted in him. His fear dissolved. His gratitude grew. He began to feel the abundance even in barren soil. Seasons passed, and his land returned to life. Crops flourished beyond measure. Neighbors asked his secret, and he only smiled. I changed the river within, and the waters obeyed. This is no mere parable. This is law. For the universe, like the soil, cannot resist frequency. It does not debate, it does not judge, it does not delay. It simply mirrors your current. Think of your own life. Where does your river flow now? Is it restless with fear? Is it clouded with self-doubt? Or does it shine with clarity and purpose? The beauty of this truth is that you are never trapped. Rivers can be redirected, frequencies can be shifted. No matter how long you have flowed in one direction, a single moment of awakening can turn your course. You may say, but how? My thoughts run wild, my emotions betray me. How do I control this river? You do not control it with force, you guide it with awareness. You become the watcher of the waters, noticing when they churn with fear, when they cloud with doubt, when they race with anger. And instead of fighting, you redirect gently, patiently, like one guiding a stream with stones. This is why meditation, prayer, and stillness are sacred. They are the tools by which you shape your river. Understand this. Your frequency is not formed only by your thoughts, but by your state. To rehearse a thought without feeling is like striking a drum in a vacuum. It produces no resonance. But when thought and emotion fuse, the river surges with power. To say, I am wealthy while trembling with fear is weak. To feel wealth as already present, to let gratitude flood your being, this is strength, this is alignment. Think of the musician who does not simply read notes, but breathes life into them. The sheet of music is the thought, the emotion is the breath. Without the breath, the notes are lifeless. Without the state, the affirmation is hollow. When both unite, the song of your reality plays in perfect resonance. Let us turn to a vision. Imagine yourself standing at the bank of a river. The waters are dark, rushing wildly, carrying debris. This is the state of fear, of doubt, of scattered energy. You step closer and place your hand in the stream. At first it resists, but then you speak to it softly. You breathe deeply. You envision calm waters, clear and luminous. Slowly, the current begins to shift. The debris clears. The waters sparkle like liquid light. This is the power of alignment, not by force, but by resonance. The world around you is thirsty for this. People sense your river even before they know your name. They feel your frequency in your silence, in your presence, in your gaze. Have you not noticed that some people walk into a room and lift its energy without saying a word? This is not charisma, it is frequency. Their river flows in abundance, and all others are nourished by it. You are called to become one of these, not to dominate, not to control, but to radiate, to become a river of life in a desert of despair. To align so deeply with Spirit that your very presence becomes a blessing to all who encounter you. Even in the face of challenge, You can hold this. A river does not stop at rocks. It flows around them. So too must you. Life may place obstacles in your path, but your frequency decides whether you shatter against them or glide past. And when you align with the river of spirit, nothing can halt your flow. Sacred practice. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Imagine yourself as a river. At first, see the waters as they are now, restless, clouded, or perhaps calm. Do not judge, simply observe. Now, with each inhale, see a golden light entering the waters. With each exhale, see the river clearing, becoming luminous, wide, and peaceful. Feel it flowing through your body, washing away fear, carrying abundance to every cell. Whisper aloud, "My river flows with abundance. My frequency creates my world." Repeat this until you feel a shift, even subtle, in your state. Then open your eyes, knowing that the current has already turned. Chapter 4. The Language of Light. There is a language older than words. It is not spoken with the tongue, yet it moves worlds. It is not written with ink, yet it inscribes destinies. It is the language of light, the radiant vibration of consciousness itself. You have spoken it your entire life without knowing. Every thought you think, every emotion you embody, every image you hold in the temple of your mind, they are syllables in this ancient language. The universe does not respond to the surface of your speech. It responds to the light you emit beneath it. Consider this. When you say, "I want abundance," yet inside you vibrate with fear of lack, the words fall silent in the cosmos. The light beneath them speaks louder, "I lack, I fear, I expect disappointment." And the mirror of reality reflects accordingly. But when you speak from alignment, when the words and the inner light become one, the universe bends instantly. It cannot resist the authority of coherence. The prophets, sages, and mystics of every age knew this secret. Moses raised a staff, but it was not wood that parted seas. It was frequency. Krishna spoke to Arjuna, but it was not persuasion that awakened him. It was resonance. Christ said, "Lazarus, come forth." But it was not syllables that raised the dead. It was light flowing through the words. Their power came not from sound, but from alignment with the eternal frequency. You too hold this power. You are speaking the language of light every moment, whether you realize it or not. The question is, what are you saying? There is an old tale of a healer in a small village. People traveled miles to see him, for it was said his words carried miracles. One day, a desperate father brought his son, gravely ill. The healer placed his hand gently on the child's chest and whispered words so soft that none could hear. Within hours, the boy recovered. The villagers begged him to reveal his secret. The healer smiled and said, "It is not the words I speak with my mouth, but the ones I speak with my being. If I say, 'You are healed,' while holding fear, the light trembles and the words fail. But if I say it while embodying wholeness, my light commands reality to obey." This is the law of the language of light. The world listens to your being, not your speech. You may convince men with rhetoric, but you move heaven with vibration. Think of your own life. How many times have you prayed, affirmed, or begged for change only to find silence? Perhaps you believed the words were powerless. Yet the truth is simpler. The words did not align with the light. Empty syllables do not carry frequency. Only coherence does. This is why spiritual practice is not about reciting formulas, but about embodying states. You do not say abundance, you become it. You do not declare love, you radiate it. You do not demand healing. You embody wholeness so completely that your cells remember who they are. This is true prayer, true affirmation, true command. Imagine for a moment standing in a cathedral built not of stone, but of light. The walls shimmer with colors beyond description, vibrating with tones you feel more than hear. As you stand there, you realize that everything responds to you. When you think of peace, the walls glow with serenity. When you feel joy, the ceiling bursts into song. This is no fantasy. It is a vision of reality. For you live daily in such a cathedral. The world is the architecture of your light. Do not underestimate the force of coherence. One candle may seem small, yet in a darkened cave, it dominates. One being aligned in light can lift entire families, entire communities, even nations. Have you not felt it? The presence of someone so steady, so radiant, that your own anxiety dissolves when you are near them? That is the language of light, spoken without words. But hear this, the same law applies to dissonance. A being consumed by fear radiates fear. A mind obsessed with scarcity radiates lack. Their light inscribes their reality, even if their lips say otherwise. This is why awareness is sacred, for whether you intend it or not, you are always speaking. The universe is always listening. Ask yourself, what am I saying today? Not with my lips, but with my state. Am I radiating lack or abundance, fear or trust, doubt or certainty? For these are the words the cosmos hears. The great liberation is this: you can rewrite your language at any moment. You can shift the script of your being. You can pause in the chaos of thought and choose a new sentence of light. You can feel gratitude before evidence, love before reason, certainty before proof. And when you do, the mirror of reality bends to your speech. Let me give you a parable of this law. A young woman once dreamed of becoming a singer, but her village mocked her. They said her voice was weak, her dreams foolish. She believed them. And though she sang, her voice cracked with doubt, trembling with fear. One day, while walking by the river, she met an old traveler who carried a flute. He asked her to sing. Embarrassed, she refused. He insisted gently, and at last she sang, but the sound faltered. The traveler stopped her and said, "Your voice does not fail because of your throat. It fails because of your light. You sing words of music, but you radiate fear. Change your light, and your song will awaken." That night, she sat by the river and closed her eyes. She imagined herself already on great stages, her voice rising like wind across mountains, her songs healing broken hearts. She felt the joy of it, the certainty of it, until her chest burned with light. When she sang again, her voice rang pure, carrying a resonance that silenced the mockery forever. Her song became her destiny, because her light had aligned with her words. So it is with you. Whatever you dream, whatever you seek, it is not far away. It is waiting for you to speak its light. Sacred practice. Sit quietly in a dimly lit room, place a single candle before you, and gaze into its flame. As you watch, imagine that the flame is your inner light, your true language. Now, speak aloud an affirmation, but before you say it, feel it. If you choose abundance, see it flowing already. If you choose love, let it rise in your chest. If you choose healing, feel wholeness in your body. Speak only when the feeling is alive. Whisper your phrase into the flame. Watch how it dances. Know that as the candle responds, so does the universe. You have spoken the language of light. Chapter 5. The Throne Within. Power has always been misunderstood. The world paints it as crowns and thrones, armies and gold, the trembling of nations beneath the command of one voice. Yet such thrones crumble, such crowns rust, such empires fall into dust and silence. The true throne, the eternal seat of power, is not outside you. It rests within, in the sanctuary of your consciousness. Every thought you dwell upon is a decree issued from this throne. Every feeling you cultivate is a law proclaimed to your universe. You sit upon it whether you are aware of it or not. The question is not whether you rule, but whether you rule consciously. Consider the image of a king who has forgotten he is king. He wanders his own palace as a beggar, starving though his granaries overflow, fearful though his armies stand ready. His servants bow before him, but he does not notice, for his eyes are fixed on the dust at his feet. So too do many live, heirs to infinite wealth, yet trapped in the illusion of poverty, commanders of destiny, yet convinced they are powerless. But once he remembers, once he lifts his gaze and takes his seat upon the throne, everything shifts. Orders are given, doors are opened, wealth flows where famine once ruled. Nothing in the palace changed, only his awareness. So it is with you. Your palace is the universe itself. Your throne is your consciousness. When you sit in forgetfulness, you beg for scraps. When you sit in remembrance, you command kingdoms. A parable tells of a young prince who, as a child, was lost in the forest and raised by wanderers. For years he knew nothing of his royal birth. He worked as a servant, ate in poverty, and believed himself destined for obscurity. One day a messenger from the palace found him. The messenger bowed low and said, "My lord, why do you labor as a slave when the throne awaits you?" At first the prince laughed. "You mock me. Look at my clothes, my hands, my life. Do I look like a king?" But the messenger only replied, "Your crown is not of gold, but of being. Your throne is not of stone, but of awareness. Sit upon it, and the world will remember you." The prince resisted, but something within stirred. That night he dreamed of a radiant throne, high and luminous, waiting for him. He woke trembling, for in his heart he knew it was true. Slowly, with trembling steps, he allowed himself to sit upon that inner seat. And when he did, all else shifted. The world that once ignored him now bowed. The life that once withheld now overflowed. The throne within had been reclaimed. You are that prince. You may not wear a crown of jewels, but you carry a crown of consciousness. And every day you choose whether to sit upon the throne or wander in exile. What does it mean to sit upon the throne within? It means to know that your thoughts are not idle, but royal decrees. To understand that your imagination is not fantasy, but the scepter of creation. To remember that your awareness is not small, but the very seat of spirit itself. When you dwell on lack, you command lack to appear. When you dwell on abundance, you summon it with authority. When you choose love, you rule with grace. The throne does not tremble before circumstance. A storm may rage outside the palace, but the king within remains still, for he knows the storm will bow to his decree. And so must you. Life will bring waves of uncertainty, winds of fear, floods of challenge. But you are not a beggar tossed about. You are the one who commands the seas with a word. Do you recall the story of Christ asleep in the boat while the storm raged? The disciples trembled, but he rose and said, "Peace, be still." And the waters obeyed. This was not divine favoritism. It was remembrance. It was the throne within speaking and creation bowing to its voice. You have that same authority. The difference is only whether you remember to use it. Think of your daily life. When bills arrive, do you shrink, trembling as though powerless? Or do you sit upon the throne and declare, "Abundance flows, provision is mine"? The universe answers me always. When conflict arises, do you lash out in fear? Or do you sit upon the throne and decree peace, radiating light so strong that shadows dissolve? Most give away their throne without knowing. They let others sit upon it, opinions of friends, voices of critics, ghosts of the past. They allow fear to sit upon it, commanding their days. But the throne was never theirs to give away. It waits for them, always. The seat of spirit is eternal. Let us return to a vision. Close your eyes and imagine a vast hall of light. At the center rises a throne of crystal, glowing with golden fire. It is empty, waiting. You walk toward it, trembling. You hear whispers, "You are not worthy. You are too small. You have failed too many times." But as you step closer, those voices dissolve, for they are shadows with no power. The throne shines brighter, calling you. At last you sit, and in that instant the hall shifts. Walls expand into galaxies. The ceiling becomes the heavens themselves. The scepter appears in your hand, your imagination. The crown rests upon your head, your awareness, and you remember you have always been king, always been queen, always been ruler of your reality. You had only forgotten. This is your task, to sit upon the throne daily, not as fantasy, but as certainty. To speak as one who commands, not as one who begs. To expect reality to obey, not in arrogance, but in alignment. For the throne is not ego, it is spirit, and spirit rules effortlessly. When you live from this seat, life responds in ways that astonish you. Doors open without knocking, opportunities appear without striving, people honor you without explanation. It is not luck, it is law. For the throne within has spoken, and creation cannot resist its decree. Remember this: the throne is not taken once and for all. It must be claimed daily. Fear will try to usurp it. Doubt will try to sit upon it. Old stories will try to climb back into the seat. But you are sovereign. You may rise again and again, reclaiming it, until one day you never leave it. Sacred practice. Tonight, sit in silence. Close your eyes and imagine before you a radiant throne of light. Approach it slowly. When you sit, straighten your spine, lift your head, and breathe deeply. Feel the scepter of imagination in your hand, the crown of awareness upon your head. Now speak a decree. It may be as simple as, "Abundance flows to me now," or "Peace reigns in my life," or "I am whole and I command wholeness to manifest." Do not speak as a beggar, but as a sovereign. Feel the authority in your chest. Speak it once, twice, 7 times, until the vibration becomes certain. When you rise, carry this state into your day. Walk as one who sits upon the throne and watch how the world bows in response. Chapter 6. The Garden of the Mind. The mind is a garden. Every thought is a seed. Every emotion is the water that nourishes it. Every belief is the soil in which it takes root. And whether you realize it or not, your life is the harvest of this garden. If you plant seeds of fear, do not be surprised when weeds of worry grow tall. If you plant seeds of doubt, do not be shocked when the harvest is small. But if you plant seeds of abundance, tended with joy and watered with gratitude, you will walk among fields overflowing with beauty. This is no metaphor alone. It is spiritual law. For the mind is the first womb of creation. Everything you see outside began first as a seed within. Cast into the soil of imagination, watered with emotion, fed with focus, it eventually rose into form. The chair you sit upon, the device you hold, the home you live in, all were once invisible seeds in someone's mind. Now imagine this. If such is true of objects, how much more true is it of your destiny? The wealth you seek, the love you long for, the health you desire, all are seeds waiting to be planted in the garden of your mind. There is an ancient parable of two brothers. Each inherited a small patch of land. The elder was fearful and lazy. He cast seeds carelessly, watered rarely, and cursed the sun for being too hot. His field grew wild, thorns choking the little he planted. The younger brother, however, rose early each day. He planted carefully, watered faithfully, and sang to his garden with gratitude. In time, his land flourished, feeding not only himself but the entire village. The land was the same. The difference was the gardener. And so it is with you. Life does not withhold abundance. It mirrors the gardener's care. If your mind is cluttered with weeds of worry, your harvest will show it. If your mind is tended with love and trust, your world will blossom accordingly. But here is the mystery. Many treat their minds as wastelands. They allow any seed to fall, the poison of gossip, the toxin of fear, the thorn of resentment. Then they wonder why their harvest tastes bitter. They forget they are the gardener. They forget that vigilance, not chance, determines the crop. Close your eyes and see your mind as a vast garden. What grows there now? Are there tangled weeds of regret, dry patches of unfulfilled desire, or rows of flowers watered with faith? Be honest. For until you see the truth of your garden, you cannot change it. But do not despair if the weeds are many, for every garden, no matter how overgrown, can be renewed. The soil of the mind is infinitely fertile. Even if thorns have grown tall, one seed of faith can reclaim the land. Let us look to another story. In a village plagued by famine, there lived a woman who owned a barren plot. Neighbors mocked her, "Your soil is cursed. Nothing grows there." Yet she refused to give in. Each morning she walked to her field and spoke to the land. "You are fertile. You are abundant. You will bloom." She watered faithfully, though nothing yet sprouted. She planted seeds, though others laughed. Seasons passed, and slowly green shoots appeared. While other fields withered, hers flourished. Soon she harvested enough to feed her entire community. People asked, "What was your secret?" She replied, "I did not believe the soil was barren. I believed it was waiting." Your mind is the same. Even if barren seasons have passed, even if old seeds of fear seem to have poisoned the soil, it can be renewed by faith. Speak to your mind as she spoke to her land. Plant new seeds. Water them daily. Trust the process, for no seed planted in faith remains unfulfilled. Understand this: the garden grows what you attend to. If you rehearse fear, fear grows. If you dwell on lack, lack expands. But if you meditate on abundance, abundance multiplies. If you give thanks for love, love blossoms. The soil does not judge, it only produces. The question is, what will you sow? The world will try to scatter seeds into your mind daily. Seeds of fear from the news, seeds of envy from comparison, seeds of doubt from old failures. But you are not helpless. You are the gatekeeper. You may say, "No, this seed will not be planted here. My garden is sacred." And you may choose what to welcome. Think of a great temple garden. Would its keeper allow trash to be thrown upon the soil? Would he let weeds run wild? No, he would guard it as holy ground, and so must you. For your mind is the temple of creation. Guard its gates with reverence. When you begin to tend your mind this way, life transforms. Opportunities sprout where none existed. Love blooms where loneliness reigned. Wealth grows where lack once starved. It is not magic, it is cultivation. The world is but the fruit of the seeds you've planted. Even now, as you listen, feel the soil of your mind stir. Can you not sense its readiness? Can you not feel that even one seed planted tonight could blossom into an orchard of blessings? The soil is eternal. It waits for you. Sacred practice. Find a quiet place. Close your eyes and imagine your mind as a vast garden. Walk through it. Notice what grows there: weeds, thorns, flowers, or fruit. Do not judge, simply observe. Now, take in your hand a seed of light. Imagine it glowing, radiant, alive. This seed is your intention. Perhaps it is abundance, perhaps love, perhaps health. Plant it in the soil of your garden. Cover it gently. Water it with gratitude. See the seed begin to glow beneath the earth. Imagine it sprouting, growing tall, blossoming into fullness. Feel the joy of its harvest as though it has already come. Whisper, "My garden is sacred. I plant only light. My harvest is abundance." Carry this vision with you and tend it daily. Watch how the outer world bends to the harvest of your inner soil. Chapter 7. The Temple of Imagination. Imagination is the holy temple. It is the inner sanctuary where creation begins, the sacred chamber where invisible seeds take shape before becoming flesh. Every great teacher, every mystic, every creator knew this truth. Imagination is not daydreaming. It is the workshop of spirit. Look around you. Every building you see, every tool in your hand, every invention that shaped history, all were once invisible, alive only in the imagination of someone bold enough to believe. The airplane flew first in the temple of imagination. The symphony was heard first in the temple of imagination. The medicine that healed, the bridges that crossed impossible distances, the books that changed generations, all of them were born in this silent chamber. And if such is true of inventions and creations, how much more is it true of destiny itself? For your life, too, is a creation. Your abundance, your love, your health, your purpose, all begin first in imagination. What you dare to hold within will one day be carved in the stone of reality. The scriptures whisper this truth in veiled words. In Genesis, creation begins with vision before form. Let there be light. In the Gospels, Christ says, "When you pray, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." In Hermetic law, the all is mind, the universe is mental, each pointing to the same truth. Imagination is the womb of creation, but most misunderstand imagination. They treat it as fantasy, as idle escape. They use it to replay fears, to rehearse lack, to magnify worry. They turn the temple into a prison. And so the harvest of their life mirrors these inner rehearsals. For the temple does not judge what it builds, it creates faithfully what you bring into it. Let me tell you a parable. There was once a sculptor who lived in a city of stone. Every day he walked past the quarry and saw only useless boulders. "These rocks are worthless," he said, "fit only to be stumbled over." One day another sculptor passed by. She looked at the same stones and smiled. "Within this one lies a king," she whispered. "Within this one, a temple. Within this one, a winged angel." And with chisel and patience, she revealed what her imagination had already seen. Soon her works filled the city: statues, arches, fountains, temples. People praised her as a genius. The first sculptor grew bitter. "How is it that you succeed while I fail? We walk the same streets, see the same stones." She replied, "I do not see stones. I see what is hidden within them, and because I see it, it comes forth." So it is with life. Two people face the same circumstances. One sees obstacles, the other sees opportunity. One imagines lack, the other imagines abundance. And the universe, like stone beneath the chisel, obeys the vision. What about you? What do you imagine when you close your eyes? Do you rehearse failure, betrayal, poverty? Do you fill the temple with shadows, then wonder why the world grows dark? Or do you dare to imagine light, beauty, wealth, peace, and trust the law that what is vividly held within must appear without? The key is not merely to imagine, but to imagine with feeling. A lifeless picture in the mind is like a blueprint never built. But when imagination fuses with emotion, the temple becomes alive. To imagine wealth and feel the gratitude of already having it, to imagine love and feel the warmth of its embrace, to imagine health and feel the strength flowing in your veins. This is creation in motion. Neville Goddard, a mystic of the last century, taught this truth relentlessly. He said, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in it, for the world will inevitably conform to it." This was no theory, it was testimony. Countless lives were changed by daring to step into imagination as reality. Understand this: your imagination is not pretend, it is preview. It is rehearsal not of what might be, but of what must be if sustained. The universe is mental, and your imagination is the brush painting tomorrow upon its canvas. Picture yourself now in your temple. See its walls of crystal, its ceiling of stars, its altar glowing with fire. This temple is always within you, waiting. Upon its altar lies the power to shape worlds. What will you place upon it tonight? Let us consider another parable. In a desert village, water was scarce. People carried heavy jars for miles, straining under the sunday. But a young boy closed his eyes each day and imagined fountains flowing in the square, rivers running through the streets, laughter of children splashing in abundance. He drew pictures of it in the sand, though others mocked him. Dreamer, they called him. Years later, travelers discovered underground springs near the village. With effort, fountains were built, rivers redirected. When the waters flowed at last, the villagers wept with joy. The boy, now grown, only smiled. For he had lived in that reality long before it arrived. His imagination had been the prophecy. So too with you. Whatever you dare to live in your temple of imagination will one day stand before you. The delay is not denial, it is cultivation. Seeds require time to break the soil, but if you persist, the harvest cannot fail. This is why imagination must be treated with reverence. Guard what you dwell upon, for every image is a seed. Do not spend the holy currency of imagination upon fear. Do not build temples to lack. Instead, see only what you desire, feel it as already yours, and persist. The temple will do the rest. Sacred practice. Tonight, enter your inner temple. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and breathe slowly. See yourself walking through great doors into a hall of light. The walls shimmer, the air hums with creation. Before you is an altar of crystal. Upon it, place the vision of your desire. Perhaps it is abundance. See gold flowing like rivers across the altar. Perhaps love. See two hands joined in radiant light. Perhaps healing. See your body whole, glowing with health. Now, step closer. Place your hands upon the vision. Feel it as real. Let gratitude flood your being as though it has already been fulfilled. Whisper, I am the temple. I am the imagination of God. What I hold within must appear without. Remain until you feel the state shift, until the vision becomes alive in you. Then rise, carrying the certainty that what you placed upon the altar will soon stand in your world. Chapter 8. The Law of Radiance. There is a law written not in books, but in the very fabric of the cosmos. It is the law of radiance, that what you radiate, you attract, that what you emit, you become surrounded by, that your inner light, whether bright or dim, joyful or sorrowful, abundant or impoverished, magnetizes the outer world into harmony with it. Think of the Sunday. It does not chase planets, does not beg for warmth, does not strain to hold its place. It radiates, and in its radiance planets orbit, life flourishes, flowers bloom. So too is the spirit within you. When you radiate your true power, the world does not resist. It bends, it yields, it blossoms around you. But when you dim yourself, when you radiate fear, bitterness, doubt, then that light draws matching forms: conflict, scarcity, disappointment. This is not punishment, it is law. Just as fire gives warmth, just as ice gives cold, so too does your inner radiance shape your outer world. Many misunderstand attraction. They imagine it is about craving, about reaching outward with desperate fingers. But true attraction is the opposite. It is not pulling, but glowing. It is not demanding, but embodying. What you radiate, you no longer need to chase. It comes to you, faithful as rivers to the sea. A story is told of a merchant in an ancient port city. He longed for prosperity, but radiated only fear. Every day, he counted his coins with trembling, certain they would vanish. He prayed for wealth, but worried constantly about loss. And though ships came to the harbor, trade eluded him. One evening, an old sailor saw him pacing the docks. "Why do you frown so?" the sailor asked. "Because I have nothing," said the merchant. The sailor laughed gently. "Nothing? You have a mind, a body, breath. You have hands to build, words to trade, dreams to guide, yet you radiate only lack, and so the harbor mirrors you." The merchant, stung, went home and sat in silence. He realized that though he begged for abundance, he wore lack like a cloak. His words, his posture, his very breath radiated poverty, and so the world obeyed. He decided to change. Each morning he stood at his window and gave thanks as though ships already filled his harbor. He walked the docks with shoulders lifted, smiling as though already prosperous. He treated his few coins as treasure, handling them with reverence. Slowly, something shifted. Traders began to notice him, drawn not by desperation, but by the warmth he radiated. Business grew, wealth flowed. The law had not changed, he had. This is the essence of radiance. You need not force the world. You need only embody the frequency you desire, and the world cannot resist it. Pause and feel this. What do you radiate today? Do you walk into rooms carrying heaviness, suspicion, fear, or do you enter like the sun, warm, steady, abundant? For whether you know it or not, everyone feels your radiance, not your words, but your frequency, and the universe responds the same way. Think of a flower. It does not advertise its fragrance. It does not beg bees to come. It simply blooms, and its radiance draws all it needs. So too are you called to bloom, to radiate peace, and peace will surround you, to radiate wealth, and wealth will gather, to radiate love, and love will multiply. This is why spiritual practice is not about pleading with the universe, but about embodying the state now. If you want abundance, radiate gratitude now. If you want love, radiate kindness now. If you want health, radiate wholeness now. Radiance precedes reception. Consider another parable. There was once a village where people feared the night. They shut their doors, trembling at the darkness. Certain monsters lurked, but a young woman grew tired of fear. One evening, she lit a lantern and walked into the square. Neighbors cried out, "Are you mad? The darkness will consume you." But as she walked, her lantern's light spread. Soon children followed her, laughing. Soon others brought their own lamps. The square filled with radiance, and the fear dissolved. They realized the monsters had been shadows all along. The darkness had never been the power, their fear was, and her radiance had broken it. So it is with you. Darkness in life is never stronger than light. Scarcity, conflict, despair. They seem powerful only when radiance is withheld. But when you choose to shine, when you radiate from within, shadows scatter. Do not ask whether the law of radiance works. It is as certain as gravity. The only question is, what are you radiating? You may say, but how do I radiate what I do not yet have? The answer, by choosing the state before the evidence. The poor man radiates wealth not because of coins, but because of consciousness. The lonely radiate love not because of another, but because they embody it. The weak radiate strength not because of muscle, but because they choose wholeness. Radiance is cause, not effect. Even now, as you listen, your radiance shifts. Words are not merely sounds, they carry light. And if you feel your chest expand, your breath deepen, your vision sharpen, it is because you are remembering the law of radiance. See yourself now as a star in the night sky. Around you stretches infinite darkness, yet you do not shrink. You shine. You radiate. And because you do, the darkness becomes a canvas for your brilliance. This is who you are. You were not born to beg. You were born to radiate. Sacred practice. Sit in silence. Place your hand over your chest. Breathe deeply. With each inhale, imagine drawing golden light into your body. With each exhale, imagine that light radiating outward in all directions, filling the room, the building, the city, the world. Now choose one quality to radiate: abundance, peace, love, health. Feel it in your body until it glows. Whisper softly, "I radiate abundance. I radiate light. The universe mirrors me." Remain for 7 breaths, shining without effort, like the Sunday when you rise. Carry this radiance with you into every encounter. Watch how the world responds. Chapter 9. The Silence That Commands. There is a power greater than shouting, greater than striving, greater than endless action. It is the power of silence. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of authority. a silence so full it commands reality itself. Think of the ocean. It does not rush to prove itself, yet its still depths hold mysteries that dwarf the mountains. Think of the night sky. It does not argue its grandeur, yet stars bend to its silence. Think of the flame. It does not scream to be seen, yet darkness yields before it. This is the silence of spirit, steady, unshaken, sovereign. You were taught that power is noise, louder voices, stronger fists, relentless action. Yet the greatest masters have always known the opposite. Moses did not argue with the sea. He raised his staff in silence. Buddha did not fight shadows. He sat beneath the tree, unmoved. Christ did not strive in storms. He whispered, "Peace, be still," and the waters obeyed. True power is not frantic. True power is certain. But most live in restless noise. They beg, plead, complain, and argue with life. They speak endlessly of their problems, thinking words alone will free them. Yet the universe does not obey desperation. It obeys silence. The silence of one who knows, the silence of one who is certain, the silence of one who sits already upon the throne within. A story is told of a warrior who came to learn from a sage. He expected teachings of swordsmanship, strategies of conquest. Instead, the sage invited him to sit in silence. Hours passed. The warrior grew restless. Finally, he shouted, "I came to learn power, not waste time." The sage opened his eyes and said, "Listen to your voice. It trembles with insecurity. You mistake noise for strength, but the one who is silent within can move armies without raising a blade." The warrior scoffed but returned the next day. Again, the sage offered silence. Again, frustration boiled. But slowly, as days turned to weeks, something shifted. The warrior began to feel the weight of stillness, the strength of calm. When he rose to speak, his voice no longer shook. When he walked, people moved aside without knowing why. He had found the silence that commands. So too with you. The world responds not to your frantic noise, but to your silent certainty. When you know you are abundant, you do not need to shout it. When you know you are loved, you do not need to beg for it. When you know you are whole, you do not chase healing. Your silence speaks louder than words. Close your eyes and remember times when silence carried more than speech. A glance across a room saying everything without a word. A pause before a decision, weightier than 1,000 arguments. A quiet prayer, felt in the marrow of your being, answered before lips could finish the sentence. This is the silence of spirit, not emptiness, but fullness. You may ask, how do I cultivate such silence? The answer is not in forcing stillness, but in trusting alignment. When you are certain that life bends to your frequency, you no longer need to argue with it. When you trust the flame within, you no longer fear shadows. Silence comes not from suppression, but from sovereignty. Think of a king at court. The room buzzes with chatter, advisors debating, servants rushing, yet the king sits in silence, watching. And when he finally speaks, one sentence, the room stills, for his silence gave weight to his words. You too are this sovereign. Your silence adds weight to your decree. Let us turn to another parable. In a town struck by drought, villagers gathered daily to pray for rain. They shouted, wept, and pleaded, but the sky remained clear. One day, a child came alone. He did not shout or beg. He sat quietly, holding a small umbrella in his lap, smiling at the sky. Hours passed, and clouds gathered. Rain fell, and the earth was quenched. The villagers asked, "What magic did you use?" The child replied, "I did not shout for rain. I carried silence and certainty that it was already coming. The umbrella was my proof." This is the silence that commands, not emptiness, but the fullness of certainty, not noise, but radiance. Pause here. Feel the silence beneath these words. Can you sense it? That stillness inside you, that calm river that does not rush? This is your power. This is the silence from which you are meant to live. Even in the storms of life, you can hold it. When others panic, you remain still. When chaos swirls, you breathe deeply. When fear rises, you say nothing, because your silence carries a decree. All is well. It is already done. And the world, like waters before the staff, obeys. Understand this. Silence is not passivity. It is not weakness. It is the opposite. It is the refusal to give fear your voice. It is the decision to dwell in certainty so deep that nothing can shake it. It is the stance of one who knows reality bends to their state. Do you see the pattern? The masters of every tradition did not strive. They radiated, they imagined, they sat in silence. And the world shifted. You are invited to the same. To stop fighting shadows, stop shouting at mirrors, stop arguing with life. Instead, to sit in the silence of spirit, knowing your flame, trusting your throne, tending your garden, walking in radiance. When you begin to live this way, miracles no longer feel like interruptions. They feel like the natural language of life. Opportunities appear, doors open, healing flows, not because you forced them, but because your silence commanded them. So the question, can you be still enough to command? Can you trust your silence more than your striving? Can you believe that the universe is already obeying, if only you stop shouting long enough to hear it? Sacred practice. Tonight, find a quiet place. Sit comfortably, spine straight, eyes closed. Place your hands gently on your lap. Breathe slowly. Now, bring to mind one desire: abundance, health, love, peace. Do not beg for it. Do not plead. Instead, see it as already done. Feel it as already yours. Then, fall into silence. No words, no requests. Just silent certainty. Remain in this silence for 3 minutes, breathing slowly. When doubts arise, let them pass like clouds. Return to the stillness beneath. At the end, whisper only once, "It is done." Then rise, carrying the silence with you. Walk as though your desire is already fulfilled, because it island. Chapter 10. The Law of Embodiment. Creation does not answer who you wish to be. It answers who you embody. You may dream of abundance, speak of abundance, even pray for abundance, but if in the silent chambers of your being you still embody lack, life mirrors lack. You may long for love, but if you embody loneliness, the mirror returns loneliness. You may crave healing, but if you embody brokenness, the body listens and obeys. The secret is not to chase, but to embody. To walk, breathe, think, and feel as though the desired state is already yours. For when you embody, you no longer ask, you become, and the universe, like a faithful mirror, reflects what you are. Think of an actor on stage. He does not merely recite lines, he becomes the character. He wears the costume not only outwardly, but inwardly. He imagines so vividly that the audience forgets he is acting. They weep, they cheer, they believe, because he has embodied the role. So too with you. The world is your stage, and your imagination is the costume. Embody wealth, and the world believes it. embody peace, and chaos yields. Embody love, and relationships shift around you. The law is not partial. It does not ask whether you deserve, it only reflects what you embody. There is a story of a woman who desired healing. She had suffered illness for years, prayed endlessly, but relief never came. One night, exhausted, she remembered the words of a teacher, "Live as though it is already done." She decided to try. She rose from her bed, though still weak, and walked slowly, imagining herself strong. She ate her food with gratitude, as though nourishing a body already whole. She looked in the mirror and smiled, seeing not a sick woman, but one who had already healed. At first it felt like play, but as days turned to weeks, something shifted. Her body began to obey the command of her embodiment. Her strength returned, her illness faded. She had stopped begging and started becoming. This is not magic. This is law. For the body, the mind, the world, all listen to the frequency you embody. But here is where many falter. They attempt embodiment once or twice, then quit when evidence does not appear instantly. They return to begging, to doubting, to waiting. Yet embodiment is not a performance, it is a state. You must live in it until it hardens into fact. The farmer does not plant a seed and then dig it up each morning to check if it grows. He trusts, waters, waits. And so must you. Ask yourself, what state do I embody daily? Is it fear, rehearsed again and again? Is it scarcity, felt with every purchase? Is it doubt, carried into every dream? For whatever you embody consistently becomes law in your world. But here lies the liberation. You can choose. You can step into the state at any moment. You can rise from the prison of lack and embody abundance now. You can lift yourself from the weight of sorrow and embody joy now. You can walk out of fear and embody courage now. It does not matter what the outer world shows, for the mirror must eventually obey the inner state. Close your eyes and picture yourself in your desired reality, not as a hope, but as a present fact. Feel the clothes you would wear, hear the words you would speak, taste the meals you would enjoy, walk in the house you would live in, hold the hand of the love you would share life with. Do not watch yourself from afar. Be it now. This is embodiment. Neville Goddard often spoke of living in the end. This is embodiment. To move through life not as one who wishes, but as one who already island. To sleep at night, not in longing, but in gratitude for what has already been fulfilled. To carry yourself not as a beggar, but as a sovereign. A parable tells of a poor man who dreamed of wealth. He went each day to the temple, begging the gods for riches. One day a priest asked, "Why do you beg?" The man replied, "Because I have nothing." The priest smiled and handed him a robe. "Wear this as though you are already rich. Walk with dignity, speak with generosity, embody wealth, and it will come." The man obeyed. He walked differently. He spoke kindly, shared freely, laughed boldly. People began to notice, treating him with respect. Opportunities opened, wealth flowed. Not because the gods finally heard him, but because he embodied what he desired. So too with you. If you wish for love, embody love. Give it, radiate it, dwell in it. If you wish for abundance, embody gratitude. For gratitude is the frequency of wealth. If you wish for healing, embody wholeness. Feel it, trust it, live it. The law is mercilessly faithful. Embody fear, and fear multiplies. Embody faith, and faith becomes flesh. The question is never whether the law works, but whether you are embodying what you desire. Think of a tuning fork again. Strike the note of joy, and joy resonates. Strike the note of abundance, and abundance gathers. Strike the note of wholeness, and health appears. You cannot strike the note of lack and expect abundance to sing. Embodiment is the note you carry. Pause now and ask, if the world tomorrow mirrored perfectly what I embody today, what would appear? Would it be a harvest of fear or of abundance, of love or of loneliness, of wholeness or of brokenness? Be honest, for awareness is the first step to transformation. And once you see, choose differently, embody differently. Do not wait for proof, become the proof. For the mirror will always follow. Sacred practice. Stand before a mirror, look into your eyes. See not who you think you are, but who you desire to be. Now step into embodiment. If you desire abundance, stand taller, breathe deeper, smile as though wealth is already yours. If you desire love, radiate warmth, soften your gaze, feel affection flowing from your heart. If you desire healing, stretch your body, breathe strength, see yourself whole. Say aloud, I embody my desire, I live it now, the world mirrors me. Repeat until your body feels the shift. Then walk away from the mirror, not as a beggar, but as the one who already island. Carry this embodiment into every step, every breath, every word. Watch how quickly the world reflects it. Chapter 11. The Circle of Return. All energy moves in circles. What you send out is what you receive. What you radiate returns, magnified. Life is not a straight line, but a sacred circle, endlessly turning, faithfully echoing your vibration back to you. This is why no action, no thought, no emotion is ever lost. Every seed sown in the soil of consciousness ripens in time. The circle cannot be broken. Give love, and love returns. Sow fear, and fear multiplies. Radiate abundance, and abundance circles back. This is the law of return. The ancients knew this truth well. In Vedic teachings, it was karma, the law of cause and effect, the wheel that spins endlessly. In Scripture it was written, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. In Hermetic law, every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause. The circle of return is not punishment, nor reward, it is balance, it is reflection, it is law. Imagine throwing a stone into a still lake. Waves ripple outward, expanding across the water. But eventually, they circle back to the center, to the very place the stone was cast. So it is with your vibration. What you throw into the waters of consciousness ripples outward, but it always finds its way back to you. There is a story told in the East of a wealthy man who was known for cruelty. He underpaid his workers, mocked the poor, and lived only for himself. For a time, his wealth grew. He laughed, thinking himself clever, thinking the law could be cheated. But slowly, misfortune crept in. His health decayed, his family abandoned him, his riches withered. On his deathbed, he cried, "Why has the universe cursed me?" But the truth was simple. He had cast cruelty into the circle, and cruelty returned. In the same city, there lived a poor woman who had little but gave much. She shared food with neighbors, comforted the sick, blessed strangers. For years she remained poor, yet her heart glowed. And when her final days came, her community gathered, weeping, and honored her. They built schools in her name, gardens in her memory, her circle rippling long after her departure. What she had given returned, multiplied. Do you see? The law is not random, it is exact. The circle of return bends all energies back to their source. You may ask, why does it seem delayed? Why does cruelty sometimes prosper, kindness sometimes suffer? The answer? The circle moves at its own pace. Some ripples return swiftly, others take seasons. But none are lost. Every vibration circles back in time. This is both a warning and a liberation. A warning, for it means you cannot escape the harvest of what you sow. A liberation, for it means you can change your harvest by changing your sowing. You are not trapped by old circles. You can begin anew, planting seeds of light today, and in time their return will transform your life. Pause and reflect. What circles have you set in motion? Have you thrown stones of bitterness, now returning as conflict? Have you cast waves of fear, now circling back as scarcity? Or have you sent out joy, returning as opportunity? Whatever you face today is not random, it is your own echo. But hear this: you are never condemned by past circles, for the lake is infinite, and you can cast new stones. One act of love can outweigh years of fear. One moment of faith can break chains of doubt. One seed of abundance can begin a harvest that feeds generations. The circle bends, always, to the latest vibration you release. Think of the Sunday. Each day it pours light without measure, asking nothing, demanding nothing, and in return, life circles back. Flowers blooming, trees rising, rivers glistening. The sun gives, and giving becomes its harvest. You, too, are called to be a sun, radiating without fear, trusting that the circle always returns. Another parable. There was once a traveler who carried 2 bags of seeds, one of thorns, one of flowers. As he journeyed, he scattered both carelessly. Years later, he returned along the same path. Where he had sown flowers, meadows stretched. Where he had sown thorns, the road was treacherous, cutting his feet. He realized with sorrow that his own path had been shaped by the seeds he had sown. So it is with you. The road ahead is made by what you sow today. Your future is not written by fate, but by circles you set in motion now. Ask yourself, what do I want to return to me? If it is abundance, sow gratitude now. If it is love, sow kindness now. If it is peace, sow forgiveness now. The circle never fails. What you give multiplies. What you withhold, you lose. The miser keeps his coin, but loses joy. The generous shares his coin and gains both joy and more coins. Such is the paradox of the circle. Even now, as you listen, the circle turns. The thoughts in your mind ripple outward. The emotions in your chest vibrate into the field. The words you will speak today will echo back. You are shaping your return at this very moment. Do not fear the past, for the circle is merciful. It is not fixed, but flowing. New radiance dissolves old shadows. Light once sown overtakes darkness. Begin now, and the circle of your future will blaze with abundance. Close your eyes and imagine your life as a great wheel turning. See golden light flowing from you, circling outward, circling back. Feel waves of abundance leaving your chest and returning multiplied. Whisper softly, I sow only light, and light returns to me. This is no empty ritual. This is alignment with law. The circle of return is always in motion. The choice is always yours. Sacred practice. Find a quiet space. Sit with eyes closed and breathe deeply. Visualize a vast lake before you, still and luminous. In your hand, hold a glowing stone. This stone is your intention. Whisper it: abundance, love, health, peace. Now throw the stone into the lake. See ripples expand outward, endless, touching every shore. Then watch as they circle back, returning to you with multiplied strength. Place your hand on your chest and affirm, "What I sow, I reap. What I give, I receive. Today I sow light, and light will return." Carry this awareness into every word, every action, every thought, for the circle never fails. Chapter 12. The Fire of Desire. Within you burns a fire. It is not the fire of hunger nor of restless craving, but the holy fire of desire, the spark that whispers, "You are meant for more." It is the compass of the soul, pointing you toward the path of creation. Too long have you been told that desire is dangerous, that to want is to sin, that longing is weakness. But understand this: without desire, there is no creation. Without the fire of desire, stars would not blaze, rivers would not carve valleys, seeds would not break soil. Desire is the movement of life itself, drawing you into your highest destiny. The key is not to extinguish desire, but to sanctify it. For desire, when tied to fear or greed, becomes bondage. But desire, when fused with spirit, becomes the fuel of miracles. Think of a seed buried in the earth. Does it not desire the sun? That hidden yearning compels it to break its shell, to rise through darkness, to reach for light. Without that holy desire, the seed would remain forever entombed. So too with you. Your desires are the pull of destiny, urging you to rise. A parable tells of a young potter in a quiet village. Each day she molded simple cups and bowls, but in her heart she longed to create a vessel worthy of kings. Yet she silenced her desire, fearing mockery. She told herself, "Be content with small things." But the fire within did not die. One night she dreamed of a radiant chalice, shining with jewels, overflowing with light. She woke trembling. The desire blazed stronger than ever. At last she obeyed. She worked tirelessly, pouring her soul into the clay. Days turned to weeks, but she persisted. And when she finished, the chalice was more beautiful than she had imagined. Word spread. Soon kings and queens sought her craft. Her greatness had always been within her, but it was the fire of desire that drew it forth. So it is with you. Your desires are not random. They are whispers from the infinite, invitations to embody what is already waiting within. The dream that will not leave you, the vision that ignites your heart. These are not accidents, they are callings. Yet many live in denial. They smother their fire with fear. They tell themselves, "I cannot, I am unworthy, it is selfish." And so their flame flickers, never extinguished but hidden. Yet even buried fire will find a way to burn. It will gnaw at the soul as regret, as restlessness, as unfulfilled longing. Better to honor the flame, better to trust that your desires are sacred, not sinful. Better to walk boldly in the direction of your longing, for there lies your awakening. Desire is not mere wanting. Wanting says, "I lack." Desire says, "I am called." Wanting grasps desperately. Desire radiates, trusts, pulls. True desire is never frantic. It is magnetic. It draws life to you because it is aligned with who you already are. Consider this. When you align with desire, your body responds. Energy floods your veins, ideas spark, doors open, synchronicities appear. life bends to support you. Have you not felt it? That current of excitement, that certainty that whispers, "This is my path," that is desire in its purest form. And when you ignore it, life feels heavy, work feels dull, days stretch gray and endless. This is the weight of denied desire, the soul's rebellion against a life unlived. Ask yourself now, what desire burns within me? What dream refuses to die, no matter how I silence it? What vision stirs me awake at night, whispers in moments of stillness, calls me through years of distraction? That is your sacred flame. Do not fear it. Fan it. For it is not selfish to answer your calling. When you follow desire, you do not only bless yourself, you bless the world. The potter's chalice did not serve her alone. It became a vessel for kings. The inventor's vision does not remain hidden. It uplifts generations. Your fulfilled desire is not indulgence. It is service. Another parable. A traveler wandered through a desert, parched and weary. At last he found a spring, but its waters were deep below the earth. He longed for a vessel to draw it up. Nearby he saw a palm tree, heavy with dates, yet too high to reach. His desire blazed, "I must drink, I must eat." He searched and found a fallen branch. With effort he shook the tree. Fruit fell. He carved the branch into a cup. He drank, he ate, he lived. The fire of his desire pulled forth resource, ingenuity, strength he did not know he had. Without desire, he would have perished. With desire, he was renewed. So too with you. Desire is not against you, it is for you. It awakens hidden strength, summons hidden allies, reveals hidden doors. Trust it. But hear this: desire must be married to faith. For if you desire yet doubt, the flame sputters. If you long yet fear, the fire burns uneven. But when desire joins certainty, when longing fuses with trust, the fire becomes unstoppable. Mountains move, seas part, destinies unfold. Pause now. Place your hand upon your heart. Feel the fire burning there. Can you sense it? That holy spark that has never gone out, no matter how long you ignored it? It is waiting for you. Waiting to be fanned into a blaze, waiting to guide you into the life written for you since before time. Sacred practice. Sit in silence, close your eyes, breathe deeply, place your hand upon your heart. Ask softly, "What is my true desire? What fire burns within me?" Do not force an answer. Wait. Listen. Perhaps a vision will come, perhaps a memory, perhaps only a feeling. Trust it. Now, see that desire as a flame in your chest. With each inhale, see it glow brighter. With each exhale, see it spread warmth through your body. Whisper aloud, "My desire is sacred. My fire is holy. I fan it into life." Remain until you feel the flame steady, alive. When you rise, carry this fire with you into your day. Act not as one who hopes, but as one who is called. For the fire of desire will guide your steps until the circle is complete. Chapter 13. The Bridge of Faith. Every desire, every vision, every dream is like a shore you long to reach. On one side, you stand with your longing. On the other side, your destiny waits, shimmering in the distance. Between them lies a river, the unknown, the unseen, and the only way across is faith. Faith is the bridge. It is not built of wood or stone, but of certainty. It does not tremble in storms, for storms only reveal its strength. It does not wait for proof is what appears on the far shore. Faith is the invisible path laid before your feet as soon as you step forward. Most wait at the riverbank, gazing longingly at the other side. They say, "When the bridge appears, I will cross. When I see proof, I will believe." But the bridge does not appear to those who wait. It reveals itself to those who walk. One step into the unseen, and the planks rise beneath their feet. This is the law. A parable tells of a man who stood before a canyon. On the far side lay the treasure of his destiny. He cried out, "Show me the bridge, and I will cross." But the canyon replied, "Cross, and the bridge will show." Terrified, the man hesitated. Days turned to years. His treasure remained across the divide. Finally, weary of waiting, he stepped forward. To his shock, stone rose beneath his foot. He took another step, and another stone appeared. With each step, the bridge built itself. At last, he crossed, not because the bridge had been shown, but because he had walked in faith. So it is with you. Faith is not waiting to see, it is walking as though it is already done. Faith is not hoping, it is knowing. Faith is not fragile belief, it is unshakable embodiment. Understand this: the universe does not answer hesitation, it answers certainty. The seed does not sprout for the farmer who doubts the soil, but for the one who plants and waters, trusting the harvest. The prayer does not bloom for the one who begs in fear, but for the one who gives thanks as though already answered. Faith is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. Think of the electricity that powers your home. You do not see it. You do not question whether it exists each time you flip a switch. You trust, and the light appears. Faith is this trust, magnified to the level of destiny. You need not see the current, you need only flip the switch. But here is the paradox. Faith is tested in the waiting. When days pass without evidence, when storms howl, when shadows whisper doubt, this is where faith proves itself. For faith is not faith when sight is clear. Faith is faith when sight is absent. Do not despise the waiting. The delay is not denial, it is strengthening. The seed in the soil is not dead, it is growing roots unseen. The bridge may not be visible, but it is rising with each step. Trust the unseen. Another parable. A woman longed for her vineyard to flourish. For years the vines bore little fruit. Neighbors mocked her faith. "Give up," they said. "The soil is barren." But she rose each morning, watered the vines, sang songs of harvest, gave thanks as though grapes already overflowed her baskets. One spring, something shifted. The vines burst with life, grapes heavy on every branch. The neighbors marveled. She smiled and said, "The harvest came not because the soil changed, but because I never stopped walking the bridge of faith." This is the essence. Faith transforms the invisible into the visible. It is the hand that pulls tomorrow into today. It is the bridge by which you walk from longing to fulfillment. Pause now. Ask yourself, where in my life am I waiting at the riverbank, hoping for a bridge to appear? Where am I hesitating, demanding proof before I step? For it is in those very places that faith is calling you. Faith does not require grand gestures. It requires small steps in alignment with belief. The merchant who opens his shop as though abundance is certain, the artist who paints though no patron has yet arrived, the seeker who gives thanks before evidence. Each step is a plank on the bridge. When you live this way, something extraordinary happens. Life conspires to meet you. Opportunities appear. Allies emerge. Circumstances rearrange themselves. Not because the world suddenly favors you, but because faith aligned you with the law. The bridge responds only to those who walk. Even now, feel this truth. Imagine your desire on the far shore. See it clearly. The life you long for, the dream fulfilled, the abundance flowing. Feel the gap between. Now, picture the bridge. Each plank rises only as you step. Can you feel the trembling certainty? Can you sense that if you move, life will catch you? This is faith. And hear this. The bridge does not collapse beneath those who trust. Many fear stepping, worried the unseen will betray them, but the unseen has never betrayed those who walk in alignment. The only betrayal is hesitation, choosing to remain on the shore, forever waiting for proof that never comes. You were not born to linger at the riverbank. You were born to walk the bridge. You were born to trust the unseen, to embody the vision, to carry certainty until it becomes sight. This is the law of faith, and it is your inheritance. Sacred practice. Tonight, write down one desire you have hesitated to embody, one dream you've left waiting on the far shore. Sit in silence. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself already living in its fulfillment. See it, feel it, smell it, touch it. Now, picture the river between. See the bridge rising as you take your first step. Whisper softly, I walk the bridge of faith. With each step, the way is revealed. My desire is already mine. Take 7 deep breaths, each one a step across the bridge. On the 7th, see yourself arriving at the far shore, your desire fulfilled. Smile, give thanks. Then open your eyes, carrying the certainty that the bridge has already been crossed in spirit. From this moment, act in alignment. Let your steps be planks of faith. Speak, move, decide as one who has already arrived, for the bridge is built beneath your feet. Chapter 14. The Power of Surrender. There is a paradox in the spiritual law. You are told to create, to embody, to radiate, yet you are also told to surrender. How can both be true? How can you command reality and yet release it? Here is the mystery. Creation is not grasping, it is allowing. Surrender is not defeat, it is alignment. To surrender is to rest in the certainty that what you have embodied is already yours. To surrender is to let go of the frantic need to control and instead to trust the law, the circle, the flame. Think of a farmer. He plants seeds and waters them. He does not dig them up each morning, demanding proof. He surrenders to the soil. He trusts the unseen. His rest is not laziness. It is faith in action. So too must you live. Plant your desire in imagination, water it with gratitude, and then surrender. For the soil of spirit never fails. A parable tells of a sailor who sought to cross the sea. At first he rowed furiously, muscles straining, desperate to move forward. Yet the waves pushed him back. Exhausted, he collapsed. Only then did he notice the wind filling his sails. He had fought needlessly. The sea had been carrying him all along. So it is with life. We row in fear, straining, exhausting ourselves with worry and doubt. Yet the wind of spirit is already moving us. If only we would release the oars. Surrender is lifting the sail. It is trusting the current. It is realizing the universe is for you, never against you. But many misunderstand surrender. They think it means giving up, living passively, waiting idly for fate. No. True surrender is active alignment. It is embodying your desire so fully that you no longer grasp for it. It is living in gratitude so deeply that you no longer beg. It is resting in certainty, knowing the bridge has already been crossed. Pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what am I still clutching? What am I rowing furiously, exhausting myself when the wind is already here? Perhaps it is money, perhaps love, perhaps healing. Can you feel the strain in your chest, the tightness in your breath? That is where surrender is calling you. Close your eyes and imagine unclenching your grip. Imagine laying down the oars. Imagine resting back and letting the current carry you. Can you feel the relief, the freedom? That is surrender. And in that surrender, creation flows. Consider another parable. A woman longed for a child. She prayed endlessly, begged, wept, fasted. Years passed, and nothing came. One night, exhausted, she knelt and whispered, "I release this into your hands. I will live with joy, whether with or without." For the first time in years, she slept peacefully. Months later, her womb stirred with life. What changed? She stopped rowing. She trusted the current. Her surrender opened the door that striving had kept closed. This is the paradox. When you release, when your actions are no longer inspired but frantic, when your mind loops to the soil after planting, the master builder trusts the foundation once laid. The master creator rests in knowing the unseen will make visible what is already true within. Even now, as you hear these words, feel the invitation to step out of the prison of control and into the palace of trust. To surrender is to breathe deeply again, to walk lightly, to smile at the unseen, because you know it is already working for you. And when you live this way, miracles no longer surprise you. They become natural. You expect them, for you know the current carries you always. You no longer question whether the soil will sprout. You know it must. A final parable for this chapter. There was once a village built near a great river. Each year, floods would come, sweeping away crops, homes, lives. The villagers cursed the river, fought it, built walls against it, but the floods always won. One day, an elder said, "We must stop fighting. The river is not against us, it is for us. We must align." He taught them to build canals, to guide the water into fields, to plant rice that thrived in floods. In time, the river became their surrender and be carried. The choice is yours. Sacred practice. Find a quiet place. Sit with your hands open on your lap, palms facing upward. Breathe slowly. Bring to mind one thing you have been clutching, a desire, a fear, a burden. Feel its weight. Now, imagine placing it into your open palms. Remain for 7 breaths, repeating within, "I surrender, I trust, I am free." Rise lighter, freer, knowing the soil has received your seed crown. What you are aware of being, you become. This is the great key, hidden in plain sight. You may labor, pray, strive, affirm, but until you shift your awareness, the world remains unchanged. For reality is not shaped by effort, but by identity, not by what you want, of what you have been aware of being. Awareness is the root. Everything else is fruit. A parable tells of a beggar who lived outside a palace. Each day he begged for scraps. One evening, a sage approached him and said, "Why do you beg when the palace is yours?" The beggar laughed. "Yours is the joke of a madman. I am no prince." The sage replied, "The crown is already upon your head, but as long as you are aware of being a beggar, you will live as one." The beggar scoffed. Yet that night he dreamed of sitting on the throne, wearing robes of gold. He woke shaken. For a moment he felt different. For a moment, he saw himself as more. The next day, his posture lifted. His voice grew stronger. People treated him differently, though he did not notice. Weeks passed, and he began to live as though the palace was his. And one day, the guards opened the gates without question, for his awareness had made him king. Do you see? The palace had always been waiting. The crown had always been his. But the key was not in begging, it was in awareness. So it is with you. You are not waiting for abundance to arrive. You are waiting to become aware of being abundant. You are not waiting for love to find you. You are waiting to become aware of being loved. You are not waiting for healing to descend. You are waiting to become aware of being whole. Awareness is the crown, and once worn, it commands reality. Think of a stage actor once more. A man plays Hamlet. In his awareness, he is no longer himself. He is the Prince of Denmark. His awareness commands his speech, his posture, his every gesture, and the audience believes. The moment he forgets and becomes aware of being only himself again, the illusion shatters. So too with you. What are you aware of being? Poor? Small? Unworthy? The world mirrors it without fail. Or abundant? Powerful? Loved? The world bends to it. Awareness does not ask permission, it rules. You may ask, how do I shift awareness? The answer is simple, though not easy. By dwelling in the state you choose until it becomes natural. By refusing to rehearse the old identity and insisting on the new. By wearing the crown even when no one else sees it, until they cannot help but see it. A story is told of a man imprisoned in chains. Each night, he closed his eyes and became aware of freedom. He imagined walking the streets, feeling the wind, hearing the bustle of markets. At first, it felt like fantasy. But he persisted. Each night he lived as though already free. Months later, his case was overturned. He walked the streets exactly as he had in his awareness. Was it coincidence? No, it was law. His outer freedom was born from inner awareness. Consider your own life. What identity do you wear each day? What crown sits upon your head? Is it the crown of limitation, of struggle, of unworthiness? Or is it the crown of abundance, of radiance, of divinity? For whatever crown you wear in awareness, the world bows to it. The power of awareness is subtle but unstoppable. A woman aware of being loved will attract love even from strangers. A man aware of being prosperous will see opportunities others miss. A child aware of being free will not be bound by chains. Awareness is the root and all else is fruit. Close your eyes now. Imagine the state you long for: abundance, love, health, peace. Do not see it as distant. See it as now. Whisper within, I am. Feel it. Walk in it. Wear it. This is not pretense. It is truth in seed form. For once awareness shifts, reality has no choice but to obey. Even your body listens to awareness. The one aware of being sick stays sick, no matter the remedies. The one aware of being whole heals, even against odds. The cells themselves bow to awareness. Pause and feel the weight of this truth. You are crowned already. The only question is which crown you wear. And the crown you wear in silence will be the world you live in tomorrow. So, do not beg, do not wait, do not grasp. Choose awareness now. Walk as the one you desire to be. Think as they would think. Feel as they would feel. Move as they would move. Awareness is not something to reach. It is something to wear. Put on the crown and the kingdom follows. Sacred practice. Find a mirror. Stand tall before it. Look into your eyes, not with judgment, but with reverence. Now, speak softly. I am. Add what you choose. I am abundant. I am loved. I am whole. I am powerful. Do not merely say it, feel it. Let the awareness sink into your chest, your breath, your posture. See yourself already crowned. Stay until you feel the shift. Then turn from the mirror and walk as one who wears the crown of awareness, for the world will soon reflect it. Conclusion. The awakening of your power. You have walked through fire and silence, through rivers and temples, through gardens and thrones. You have seen the hidden flame, the mirror of reality, the river of frequency, the law of radiance, the bridge of faith, the surrender to the current. And now, at the end of this journey, one truth remains, shimmering like a jewel in the crown of your awareness. Your power has never been outside you. It has never been in the hands of kings, in the vaults of banks, in the judgments of others. It has always been spiritual. It has always been yours. The world is a mirror. It bends to the frequency you carry. The flame within you is eternal, steady, sovereign. When you embody, you create. When you radiate, you attract. When you surrender, you allow. When you wear the crown of awareness, life bows before you. This is not poetry alone. This is law. As certain as the rising sun, as faithful as the turning seasons, as absolute as gravity, the universe has always been conspiring with your consciousness. The question was never whether you were powerful. The question was whether you would remember. Now you do. The throne within is yours. The temple of imagination is yours. The garden of your mind is fertile. The circle of return is faithful. The river of frequency flows through you. All you must do is choose. Choose to embody the abundance, the love, the wholeness, the peace that has always been waiting for you. Choose to speak the language of light. Choose to walk the bridge of faith. Choose to surrender into certainty. Choose to radiate. For when you do, nothing can stand against you. Doors open without knocking. Mountains bend without effort. The unseen becomes seen. The impossible becomes inevitable. The dream becomes destiny. Close your eyes now and breathe. Feel the flame in your chest. Feel the crown upon your head. Feel the river flowing through you, the garden blooming within you, the temple glowing before you. Whisper softly, I am. I create. I radiate. I surrender. I reign. My true power is spiritual, and it is awake. And let this be your final remembrance. You are not small. You are not lost. You are not powerless. You are the eternal flame clothed in flesh, the awareness through which the universe dreams. And when you walk in this truth, the cosmos itself obeys. So, rise, live as one who knows, speak as one who commands, move as one who remembers. The circle of seekers is vast, but few awaken. You are among the awakened now. The journey has not ended. It has only begun. Carry this crown with you into every moment, and the world will reveal itself as the masterpiece you always held within. If these words stirred something deep within you, if you felt the flame awaken, if you remembered even for a moment your true power, I invite you to share this light. Like this teaching if it resonates. Leave a comment, not just with your thoughts, but with the shift you felt, the vision you remembered, and subscribe, so you may walk with us again into future journeys of spirit, power, and awakening. This is not the end, but the beginning of your true life. Walk now as one crowned, and watch as the universe bows to your radiance.